Hey everyone, and welcome. Most of us are always looking for ways to make our assets work harder for us, not just sit there. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful strategy that can turn those static assets into active income generators. Let's get right into it.
It's the big question for any investor, right? How do you get an asset you own to actually pay you without having to sell it off? Well, that's exactly the puzzle we're going to solve in this explainer. When most of us think about an asset, we think about it in one way. You buy it, you hold on to it, and you hope that its value goes up over time. But there's another, much more active way to approach your holdings.
Exactly. That's the real difference here. It's the jump from just hoping for passive appreciation down the road to creating active, predictable income. Imagine an asset that generates cash flow for you, month in and month out.
So, how in the world do you get a physical asset like a bar of gold or silver to start paying you? Well, the answer is a pretty sophisticated strategy used by savvy investors. It's called precious metals leasing. So, here's the breakdown. With precious metals leasing, you, the owner of the metal, you essentially rent it out, and in exchange for letting another party use your asset, they pay you a regular fee. That fee is your yield. That's your income.
This is honestly the perfect way to think about it. You wouldn't let someone live in your rental house for free, right? So why let your valuable metals be used by someone else without getting paid? With leasing, you keep full ownership, and you get to collect a monthly rent on your asset. It just makes sense.
Okay, so that's the what. Now let's get into the how. The mechanics of this are actually surprisingly simple, and we're going to break them down step by step.
It really does boil down to these three simple steps. First, you acquire the precious metal. Second, you enter into a formal agreement to lease it out. And third, the best part, you start collecting those monthly yield payments. It's a super clear, repeatable process. Now, this quote from some industry experts really highlights a powerful concept. A lot of people might think you need a ton of your own cash to get started, but as the experts point out, you can actually use leverage, borrowed funds to acquire the asset in the first place. And that idea of leverage is absolutely crucial for understanding just how powerful this strategy can be. So let's walk through a practical example using numbers that the industry experts use to show how this all plays out. Okay, let's break this down. In this scenario, let's say you acquire $50,000 worth of silver using borrowed funds. You then lease that silver out for a 1.5% monthly yield, which brings in $750. Now, the cost to borrow that initial 50 grand at an 8% annual rate is only about $333 a month. So here's the key. Your income is more than double your cost. And that leaves you with a net profit of $417 every single month. This isn't just appreciation you hope for someday. This is positive cash flow. This is income hitting your account just for owning and leasing the asset. But wait, because that monthly profit is only half the story. And this is where the strategy becomes truly incredible. There are actually two ways you can build wealth at the exact same time. So on one side, you've got the monthly yield, that consistent cash flow we just calculated. But on the other side, remember, you still own the underlying asset. So while you're collecting that income, the actual silver you own can also be going up in value. And that appreciation isn't just a theory. Experts point to historical data that shows, over the last 5 years, silver has seen an average annual appreciation of about 13%. So think about that. You're getting paid monthly while the value of your core asset is also growing. It's a win-win. When you combine those two benefits, the monthly income and the long-term appreciation, you get this powerful compounding effect. It's what experts refer to as a wealth acceleration cycle. So, let's just connect all the dots here. That monthly yield gives you cash. You can then use that cash to acquire even more precious metals. All the while, the value of your entire holding is appreciating. It becomes a self-fueling cycle where your income buys more assets and your growing assets generate even more income. And this chart just visualizes that acceleration beautifully. Based on expert projections, that initial $50,000 asset could grow to over $61,000 in just 1 year. By year 3, that could be over $175,000. And just look at the power of compounding over 5 years. It has the potential to grow to over $500,000. This is what happens when that dual benefit engine is working over time. And that brings us right back to our original question. It's a simple one to ask yourself. Are your assets working for you every single month, or are they just waiting for appreciation to happen someday? It's a really crucial question for anyone looking to build their wealth more actively.